Hello students, in this video we are going to learn about subsurface flows. So when we talk about abstractions from precipitation, we are essentially talking about the processes that take away water from the runoff, which is going to be our topic of discussion of subsequent modules. But as the name suggests, subsurface water flows beneath the land surface. So if I draw this land surface as the demarcation, and this would be a line, and whenever water molecules are falling from in form of precipitation, some water would be absorbed by these plants which will be lost in form of evaporation or evapotranspiration. Part of it would infiltrate within the ground, and it will flow through this unsaturated layer of soil. So this is unsaturated layer of soil because here the voids that are present in soil, they are occupied by both air as well as water, and ultimately it will join the groundwater table, and soil below groundwater table is in state of saturation. That would mean that all the voids below the soil in the level below groundwater table, it is occupied by water only. So to understand these subsurface flow processes, we would always be dealing with the mixed phases. That means soil, dry soil particles are present, water is present, as well as air is present. So whenever we talk about volume of soil, we are essentially dealing with volume of dry soil particles plus volume of air plus volume of water. And if you recall from your basic geotechnical engineering lectures, we define some of the fundamental quantities that we keep on using as metric to measure that since this is a three-phased system, what is the composition of a particular parcel of soil. For example, we define degree of saturation S as total volume of water that is present divided by volume of air divided by volume of water. And as I said that when we are talking about soil which is saturated, this S would be equal to 1 because all these voids would be occupied by the water molecules, and hence volume of air would be 0, making S equal to 1. Another important quantity that we describe or is of interest from hydrological perspective is neta, which is the measure of porosity, because the soil acts as a water conducting material by the virtue of its porosity. For example, if you compare a rock which is seal packed, which does not allow anything to pass through it, we basically say that the ratio of voids in this particular rock with respect to volume, they are equal to 0, and hence would not let anything permeate into it. On the other hand, soil particles are generally loosely packed with presence of the voids constituting the total volume, and hence neta is generally greater than 0, and by virtue of presence of this uh, pores, our soil material acts like as a porous media, like a sponge, which would let water to pass through it. And this is what would be interesting for us from hydrology perspective. And another interesting parameter that we will try to learn about is soil moisture content, represented as theta, which is volume of water divided by total volume. Now you see that all these three ratios, 1, 2, 3, they are essentially some combination of the quantities that we have mentioned here, and we have covered all these three phases that our soil parcel is going to have. And when we talk about hydrology, we are specifically interested to understand that how this rate of soil moisture content, often represented as SMC, would change with respect to time. What are the governing equations? And during our discussions on fundamentals of subsurface flow, we will try to understand two fundamental equations. One, of course, is continuity equation, which we would derive using Reynolds transportation theorem for one-dimensional unsaturated, saturated, unsteady flow. And all these terms would become very clear as we go forward. Second equation that we will derive would be Richards equation. And Richards equation has been solved in various forms by making various assumptions to understand the rate of infiltration. The two most commonly used equations to estimate the rate of infiltration are Horton's equation and Phillips equation, and they make certain assumptions around simplification of Richard's equation and arrive at the final form. And we would be interested to learn about that final form so that we can estimate at what rate infiltration would happen. And this estimation of rates form the essence of hydrological model. Then we will look into the another more physically relevant model, what we call as Green-Empt model, where we will try to address the limitations that or assumptions that are made in Horton's and Phillips equation and come up with more realistic representation of transportation of water within soil media, and we would learn about the Green-Empt model. So, but before we go into details, let us go back to our Reynolds transportation theorem and look into sample of soil through which we will try to derive our continuity equation. So here I will draw a three-dimensional volume representing our soil block, and as I said, we will essentially have three media here. So we will have some soil particles. Between these soil particles we will have some droplets of water, and everything that is colored in white within this block, that is essentially the air that is occupying this system. Now let us say that we take the convention that anything that is upward is positive z, anything that is downward is negative z, and the sign convention is very important whenever we are dealing with Reynolds transportation theorem or continuity equation, because it will essentially tell us in which direction all the flows are happening. Let us say that we have an unsteady flow of which is of magnitude q, and here we are essentially talking about the fluxes, that is q divided by a. And let us say that the uh, volume of this element that we have considered is dx times dy times dz, where dx, dy, dz are taken into three directions. So if we represent x in this direction, y in this direction, and dx, dy, dz would essentially be, this would constitute our dy, this would be dx, and this would be dz. So total volume here would be dx times dy times dz. Area can also be calculated easily. And we are interested to understand the rate flow or the continuity equation of this parcel of soil. Now, if this is an unsteady flow, we can say that if this is varying gradually at the rate of del q by del z, if the height of this element is dz, we can easily say that if we know the rate of variation with respect to height, the outward flux would be q plus del q by del z into dz. And we say that since no phase change is happening within the system, so this is going to be our control volume CV, and nothing is leaving our system. So we say that rate change of mass within system, and here when we are talking about mass, we are essentially talking about water, and that would be equal to 0. Also, we know that dm system with respect to time should be equal to rate change with respect to time over control volume of the property of interest, where which is water. So this is the rate change, this is derivative of extensive property with respect to mass, which would be 1 in this case, multiplied by the volume of water that is present within control volume, plus integral over control surface rho w beta v dA. Minded, this dV represents the volume of phase under consideration. So because we are trying to understand how much volume is changing in the control volume, and in this case our dV would essentially be volume of water, and we learned that volume of water divided by total volume is also equal to theta, which is soil moisture content. So we can write this dV as dx, dy, dz, which happens to be v multiplied by theta. And when we talk about water that is entering into our system, we would say that Q is entering, and since the direction of flow and area vector, they are anti-parallel, our dot product would be negative. And for outward flux, our dot product and the area vector, they are in the same direction, and hence they are going to be positive. So when we substitute these expressions here, we end up with a simplified expression which looks like that this would be equal to del upon del t into theta into dx dy dz, and this is equal to uh, rho w q plus del q by del z into del x del y minus rho w q dx dy. So this should be plus, and this entire thing is equal to 0. And upon simplification, we end up with an expression of del theta upon del t plus del q upon del z equal to 0. And this happens to be our continuity equation for one dimensional flow through unsaturated porous media, and that to an unsteady flow. Why this is an unsteady flow? Because here we have a term which is trying to capture rate change of theta with respect to time, and if this becomes 0, that means no moisture flux is going, or no change is happening in moisture flux, and all the terms, they just become equal to 0. And this continuity equation is applicable in wide variety of applications whenever we deal with subsurface flow, and we will put this to use when we go to deal with the flows in aquifers or try to understand how water flows into the well. And if you look at this equation carefully, what it is saying, it is saying that if we can write this as del q by del z as minus del theta upon del t. So if our del q by del z is positive, that would mean that water is entering with quantity q and some positive value is leaving out. That means that moisture content should decrease with the time, and that's what we say, that rate change of del theta by del t is going to be 0, or we are going to expel some moisture out of our control volume, which is essentially representing the process of loss of moisture in upward direction, which typically happens during evaporation, because evaporation can also take place from the soil molecules that get some share of heat that is incident on the soil surface. Similarly, if we say that our d if this del q by del z is in downward direction, that means it is negative, because I said that downward direction is going to be our negative direction. And if this is equated to minus del t by del t, we can say that if we have a negative term here, our del q by del t is going to be greater than 0. That would mean that this del theta by del t, or the moisture, soil moisture content, is increasing with respect to time. And once we have the estimates of flow fluxes, that is what is the rate of inflow or what is the rate of outflow, we can easily estimate at what rate soil moisture content is going to change into the parcel of soil into consideration. So this is an intuition behind the mathematical concept of equation of continuity. And in that next lecture, we will look into the momentum equation, or what we also call as famous Darcy's law, that would help us estimate that if we can measure heads using piezometers within the soil surface, can we really plot how the moisture is going to vary with respect to time, and how the measures of suction and gravimetric heads are also going to vary with respect to time in our soil strata, which would be topic of discussion in our next video. Thank you.